Now stole upon the time, the dead of night, when heavy sleep had closed up mortal eyes. No comfortable star did lend his light, no noise but owls and wolves' death-boding cries. Now serves the season that they may surprise the silly lambs. Pure thoughts are dead and still, while lust and murder wake to stain and kill. And now this lustful lord leapeth from his bed, throwing his mantle rudely o'er his arm, is madly tossed between desire and dread. The one sweetly flatters, the other feareth harm. But honest fear, bewitched with love's foul charm, doth too oft take him to retire, beaten away by brain-sick, rude desire. His falchion on a flint he softly smiteth, that from the cold stone spark or fire do fly, whereat a waxen torch forthwith he lighteth, which must be modestar to his lustful eye, and to the flame thus speaks advisedly. As from this cold flint I enforced this fire, so Lucrece must I force to my desire. Her pale with fear he doth premeditate the dangers of his loathsome enterprise, and in this inward mind he doth debate the following sorrow may on this arise. Then looking scornfully he doth despise his naked armor of still slaughtered lust, and justly thus controls his thoughts unjust. Burn out thy light, and lend it not to her, darken whose light excelleth mine, and die unhallowed thoughts before you blot your uncleanness that which is divine. Offer pure incense to so pure a shrine. Let fair humanity abhor the deed that spots and stains love's modest snow-white weed. O shame to knighthood and to shining arms! O foul dishonor to my household grave! O impious act, including all foul harms, a martial man to be soft fancy's slave! True valor still a true respect shall have. Then my digression is so vile, so base, that it will engraven in my face. Yea, though I die, the scandal will survive, and be an eyesore on my golden coat. Some loathsome dash the herald will contrive to cipher me of how fondly I did dote, that my prosperity shamed with the note shall curse my bones and hold it for no sin, to wish that I, their father, had not been. What win I if I gain what I seek? A dream, a breath, a froth of fleeting joy. Who buys a minute's mirth to wail a week, or sells eternity for a toy? For one sweet grape, who will the vine destroy? Or what fond beggar but to touch the crown would with the scepter straight be strucken down? If Collatine is stripped of my intent, will he not wake, in a desperate rage, post hither this vile purpose to prevent? This siege that hath engirt his marriage, this blur to youth, his sorrow to the sage, this dying virtue, this surviving shame, whose crime will bear an ever-during blame. Oh, what excuse can my invention make, when thou shalt charge me with so black a deed? my tongue be mute, my frail joints shake, my eyes ergo their light, my false heart bleed. The guilt being great, the fear doth still exceed. And extreme fear can neither fight or fly, but coward-like with trembling terror die. Had Coriolanus killed my son or sire, or lain in ambush to betray my life, or were he not my friend, this desire may have excuse to work upon his wife, as in revenge or acquittal of such strife. But he is my kinsman, my dear friend, and shame and fault finds no excuse or end. Shameful it is, aye, if the fact be known, hateful it is. But there is no hate in loving. I'll beg her love, but she is not her own. The worst is but denial and reproving. My will is strong, past reason's weak removing. Who fears a sentence or an old man's saw? Shall a painted cloth be kept in awe? Thus, Graceless holds his disputation between frozen conscience and hot burning will, and with good thoughts make disputation, urging the worser sense for vantage still, which in a moment doth confound and kill all pure effects, and doth so far proceed that which is vile shows like a virtuous deed. Quoth he, she took me kindly by the hand, and gazed for tidings in my eager ears, fearing some hard news from the warlike band, where her beloved Collatinus lies. Oh, how fear did make her color rise. First red as roses that on lawn we lay, then white as lawn the roses took away. And now her hand and my hand being locked, forced it to tremble with her royal, loyal fear, which struck her hand, and then it faster rocked, until her husband's welfare she did hear, whereas she smiled so sweet a cheer that Narcissus had seen her as she stood. Self-love had never drowned him in the flood. Why hunt I for color and excuses? All orators are dumb when beauty pleadeth. Poor wretches have remorse and poor abuses. Love thrives not in the heart that shadows dreadeth. Affection is my captain, and he leadeth. And when this gaudy banner is displayed, the coward Phison will not be dismayed. Then childish fear avaunt, debating die. Respect and reason wait on wrinkled edge. My heart shall never countermand mine eye. Sad pause and deep regard beseem my sage. My part is youth, and beats these to the stage. Desire my pilot is, beauty my prize. Then who fears sinking where such treasures lie? As corn o'ergrown by weeds, so heedful fear is almost choked by unresisted lust. Away he steals with open listening ear, full of foul hope and full of fond mistrust, both which, as servitors to the unjust, so cross him with their opposite persuasion, now that he vows a league, and now invasion. Within his thought her heavenly image sits, and in the same self-seat sits Collatine. That eye which looks on her confounds his wits, that eye which him beholds as more divine. Unto a view so false will not incline, but when a pure appeal seeks to the heart, which once corrupted takes the worser part, and therein heartens up his servile powers, who, flattered by their leaders' jocund show, stuff up his lust, as minutes fill up hours. And as their captain, so their pride doth grow, paying more slavish tribute than they owe. By reprobate desire, thus madly led, the Roman lord marches to Lucrece's bed. The locks between the chamber and his will, each one by him enforced, retires his ward. But as they open, they all rate his will, which drives the creeping thief to some regard. The threshold grates the doors to have him heard. Night-wandering weasels shriek to see him there. They fright him, yet he still pursues his fear. And each unwilling portal yields him way. Through little vents and crannies of the place the wind wars with the torch to make him stay, and blows the smoke of it into his face, extinguishing his conduct in this case. But his hot heart, which fond desire doth scorch, puffs forth another wind that forces and fires the torch. And being lighted by the light, he spies Lucretia's glove, wherein her needle sticks. He takes it from the rushes where it lies, and gripping it, the needle his finger pricks, as who should say, glove to the wanton tricks is not inured. Return again in haste. Thou seest our mistress's ornaments are chase. But all these poor forbiddings could not stay him. He, in the worst sense, construes their denial. The door, the wind, the glove that did delay him, he takes for accidental things of trial, or as the bars which stop the hourly dial, who with a lingering stay his course doth let, till every minute pays the hour his debt. So, quoth he, these lets attend a time like little frosts that sometimes thread the spring, to add more rejoicing to the prime, and give the snaped birds more cause to sing. Pain pays the income of each precious thing. Huge rocks, high winds, strong pirates, shelves and sands. The merchant fears our heir, at home he lands. Now is he come unto the chamber door, that shuts him from the heaven of his thought, which with a yielding latch, and with no more, hath barred him from the blessed thing he sought. So from himself impiety hath wrought, that his prey to pray he doth begin, as if the heavens should countenance his sin. But in the midst of this unfruitful prayer, having solicited the eternal power, that his foul thoughts might compress his fair fare, and they would stand auspicious to the hour, even there he starts. Quoth he, I must deflower the powers to whom I pray abhor this fact. How can they then assist me in this act? Then love and fortune be my gods, my guide. My will is backed with resolution. Thoughts are but dreams till their effects be tried. The blackest sin is cleared with absolution. Against love's fire fear's frost hath a dissolution. The eye of heaven is out, and misty night covers the shame that follows sweet delight. His guilty hand plucks up the latch, and with his knee the door he opens wide. The dove sleeps fast that this night owl will catch. Thus treason works ere traitors be espied. Who sees the lurking serpent steps aside. But she, sound sleeping, fearing no such thing, lies at the mercy of his mortal